Welcome Pisces, August 2015. I'm Dadhichi Toth from astrology.com.au. You know, the ruling planet of any star sign is very, very significant, and I have to say this month is an important transit for you of Jupiter. Western astrology, they say Jupiter and Neptune are your ruling planets in the traditional style of astrology, Jupiter, but nevertheless it is an important ruler, and moving to the angular 7th house on the, let me have a look at this. I think it's the 12th. Correct, yes. The 12th. I have to get my eyes on to see that. Moving from the 6th house to the 7th house is something, if you'd understood astrology, you would have been praying for the whole year. Because it really is what we call the foreground of the horoscope. It's the sector of relationships, significant partnerships, the general public. And if you've been sort of held back or out of the limelight for a while, dealing with all these problems of life, at last, this next 12-month transit should bring with it some huge sigh of relief. Now, mind you, it doesn't transit into this sector, but for once every 12 years. So around 2000, let's have a look, 12 from 15, 2003, 2004, around that time, if you want to get an idea of what's going to happen at this time, go back 12 years to see what Jupiter was doing then. And generally we'd have to say it is considered a favourable transit. We also see the full moon at the beginning of the month taking place in your 12th house. The 12th house, of course, is the natural house of Pisces. So this is going to bring out the emotional Piscean flavour, that compassionate area of your nature that makes you want to help people, to give of yourself, to give money, to give time and resources. But it also has to do with health, healing, spirituality, and maybe even the health, healing and spirituality of other people in your life. The moon is the natural significator of the mother. So some of you may be dealing, especially if your mother is aged now, you may be dealing with her in terms of infirmity, in terms of, dealing with the practicalities of life and having to balance those needs against your own. That 12th house aspect is balanced also by the 6th house new moon, which takes place on the 14th. So this axis, 12-6, is really all about service, compassion, selflessness. The new moon, however, and that is exactly where 4 planets are right now, including that ruling planet of yours, which moves on the 12th, along with Venus, with Mercury and the Sun. So there's a lot of powerful focus on your workplace, the way you work, the methods by which you get things done, the routine of your work, the environment in which you work, co-workers themselves. And this can sometimes be a little overpowering. So that's about to change by virtue of the fact that we have the new moon there on the 14th, by virtue of the fact that we see a transit of Mercury out of there into the 7th house on the 8th, and then on the 9th, Mars moving in to replace it in that 6th house. A lot of stuff happening, but the 7th house, and again on the 24th, the Sun moves out of there into the 7th house. So there's a shift from this working environment to the relationships you have with people. These are the more personal relationships, although business partnerships fall under the umbrella of the 7th house. What I like about this, Pisces, is that Mercury moves into its El Primo position on the 3rd, what we call the exaltation position, which is the sign of Virgo. It is most comfortable in this sign, and that is really a great augmentation for your relationships, especially if you're married or in a long-term relationship or a business partnership. You can look forward to some really, really great communication, a sense that you understand each other. And there could still be a little bit of confusion there. Mercury's going to move across that opposition to Neptune, which is still transiting through your your sun sign now. So keep your idealism realistic. Don't expect your partner to, jump up to cloud 9 with you like that. They may need a little bit of time. But I'm sure, especially with that transit of Jupiter into this sector as well, as I mentioned, this once in 12-year transit that'll be there for about a year, that things are definitely on the up and up for you in terms of those relationships. We see on the 24th the movement of the Sun into this specific area. And in concert with that Mars in 6th house, this is wonderful. This is great for any sort of competitiveness. If you're in the marketplace looking for new work, you can actually kick people's backsides with that. It normally gives great success in any sort of workplace competition or sports competition if that's what you're into. So I really like what I'm seeing for you as well. These are excellent transits. It'll be nice once the focus is away from this 6th house. Incidentally, with that 6th house and the new moon taking place there, this could be the start of a new health regime, a dietary regime, looking at how you can, not just in terms of a dietary sense, lifestyle has a lot to do with how healthy or unhealthy we are. So looking at the way you sleep, the way you wake up, the way you handle circumstances that are arising moment by moment. This requires quite a bit of mindfulness, but if you're up to the task, this can indeed mean, through this new moon, a complete shift, in fact, almost a transformation in the way you deal with this. Take 3 deep breaths and just flow with it, baby. So that's what I'm talking about. The final transit that I think is very interesting is that the pace at which Mercury is moving this month, out of the 6th house into the 7th house on the 8th, and then on the 28th moving out into this 8th house, which is the house of intimacy, self-transformation, and shared resources. So, you get a great dose of that relationship energy, and Mercury in the 8th house gives an incredible curiosity or desire to unearth things, to discover things. Also being the house of shared resources, there could be some new schemes that you're wanting to hatch or some understanding that you get in terms of the way you manage your finances or your partner's finances. And this could be a conciliatory phase for you to, improve your financial status at this time of your life. I hope you're going to join me again next month. We do it every month here. In the meantime, check out the website, astrology.com.au. We've got a more textual version of what's happening, more detail there for the month of August for you, Pisces, along with the daily readings, with our daily meditations to inspire you, and also the yearly contextual readings. Lots of free readings too, the oracles there at the site, and you can always hire a psychic like me, an astrologer, to do a one-on-one if you need some more detailed analysis. Take care. See you again next month, I hope. Bye-bye.